my name is Allie, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm the maker behind Crochet in the Mud, where I do both crochet plushies as well as pottery. And today is going to be another one of my weekly mix videos where I go over everything I made the prior week. So this week was once again a random assortment of different things to do. So on Monday, I went to the pottery studio. I loaded a biscuit kiln, and then I did some treasury stuff, and then I had a bunch of errands to run on the way home. And then later that evening I had a pottery studio meeting via Zoom. So not much got done Monday. Tuesday was a full day of crochet. Wednesday I went in, unloaded my biscuit kiln, spent 8 hours in the studio glazing, did not finish, didn't even get close to finishing, came home. And then Thursday had a typical morning to work, and then Friday I had a market in the evening. So Friday, instead of crocheting, I ended up going through the safety eyes that I've been making and getting them ready for market. Spoiler alert, I did not sell any at the market, but hopefully I can start to go in, and I took some photos, and then hopefully I can go in and list those and start selling them online if you guys are interested in any. That being said, my crochet inventory for the week is not up to par with what it typically would be, but that's what I got completed. I also unfortunately don't have everything priced yet, so that's another thing. I'm kind of guessing prices this week. But the first thing I made this week was going to be the Precious Panda from the Crochet by Jenna book. I think this is absolutely adorable, and I will probably be making more, assuming they sell. But super easy pattern. Love doing this. It came out to be $38 with my formula. So again, if you're new here, I price my plushies based off of how long they take me to make, how much in materials they cost me, and then adding on a profit margin. Don't forget to add a profit margin for yourself. That is very important. That's how you pay for the booth fee, how you pay for your tent or any other supplies you're going to buy for your display, any overhead costs, your website fees. Profit margins are very important. And then the next thing I made was this shark from Crochet Grove. I do think though I sewed the fins on too high. I don't recall there being instructions as to where to sew them in height. It said what rows to sew them between, but they're really high, so the next one I'll definitely fix that on. And I think I'll use a lighter gray next time. I just have 2 skeins of this dark gray, so I was hoping that I would like it in this color. But if you ignore the dorsal fins, I think this is adorable and really cute pattern. But I only made the one, so I have not yet timed myself. But I'm estimating this guy will probably be about $22. Might be cheaper, but that's what I'm estimating for now. And then sticking on the Crochet Grove grind, I finally bought the Brontosaurus pattern that Crochet Grove recently put out. It is so cute, so I needed it for myself. And I finally got around to using some Sweet Snuggles Light. I believe I told you guys last week, but I want you all to start holding me accountable for the month of May if I don't make anything in yarn that is not Burnet Blanket. So this week I used Burnet Blanket, Parfait Chunky, and Sweet Snuggles Light. The reason I say this is because I'm trying to go through and clear out my yarn supply, and really the only yarn I use is Burnet Blanket. I will forever use that, and I think Parfait Chunky is going to be here to stay. But I've had this Sweet Snuggles Light sitting on my shelf for 2 to 3 years, just sitting there collecting dust. So I want to use it up. But I started by making the little Brontosaurus, and I think this is so cute. It's a perfect size. It's definitely smaller than I thought, but I think that's a good thing. I did make 2 of these, but unfortunately I did not time myself yet, so I don't know how much these will be. But I'm guessing 48 honestly, now looking at them again, that's probably a little high. But I'm sure next week I'll update you, and have made one and timed myself, I'll know the price next week would be my guess. But I made 2 of those this week, and this is in, I think it was called Meadow Purple from Sweet Snuggles Light. I had 2 skeins of this, so that's why I started with this color, because I knew I could keep making that if I ran out of a skein. So then to keep using that same color, because again I was frightened I would run out before I finished, because I've never made this plushie before. This is the big size. Let me back up so you can see. It is ginormous. Like, look, it's larger than my head. But I actually weighed it, and this weighs 1.5 pounds. So I made it in the purple first, and then I also made it in turquoise so I could time myself. And these took me 2 hours and almost a full skein of Sweet Snuggles Light. So they did come out to $92. I have a feeling I will have these guys for quite a bit, but that's okay. I will not lower my price. And it's always good to have a couple of big plushies in your booth to, you know, bring people in. But that is as far as I got in terms of crochet plushies this week. I'll throw up a quick video of the pottery that I have glazed / not glazed. So the top shelf I glazed, the middle shelf is not yet glazed, and then the bottom shelf is glazed for the most part, but like some things need a second coat on top, or I still need to clean up the bottom. So that's how I sorted that on my shelf this week. So it looks like of the items that I glazed, I did 31 mugs and 20 herb strippers in terms of glazing. Some of those mugs do need a second glaze on top. A lot of times with pottery, you'll put a base glaze and then a second glaze, so it'll make a cool, I can't think of any words right now, but it's really cool to have 2 glazes, even 3 glazes sometimes on a mug. But I went ahead and calculated them as 20% of my estimated price, because I did 70% when I was making them, and then I'll do 10% when I unload the kiln, I guess. I don't know. I feel like those percentages are definitely incorrect, and I should do different numbers, but that's just what we've been going with so far. So if you count 20% of the price of all of the pottery that I did this week, that brings our grand total to $624, which does not meet our $750 minimum of my goal for weekly makes. However, I did have a market this week, and yeah. Hopefully here, and not next week, but the week after, we can get back on schedule. I don't say this coming week because I plan on glazing 2 more days, and then one day I'm going into the store I sell at and redoing my setup, and then I have to also unload the kiln. That won't take all day, but oh, and today, Monday, I plan on editing all 3 of these week's videos. And this is my first week at my new job. I am doing virtual training Monday to Friday, 4 to 7 all week. So I'm kind of booked all week. So hopefully we can, I'll set my goal at $500 of inventory for this coming week. And then Saturday, all day in person, I have training as well. So not much time to get any crocheting done, but it is what it is. I will, if I keep doing this math, have some inventory to add in due to glazing the rest of what I have to glaze, and then if I guess I do the 10% for everything that goes in the kiln. We'll see. But with that kiln unloading coming, I should have a kiln unloading video coming up here shortly. I'm not sure if it'll come out next week or what, but I will go ahead and link up here the January kiln unloading I had, and that was the last one I've done this year. So it's been quite a bit, and it'll be very nice to have some inventory, especially some more herb strippers. I think I have 69 going in the kiln. It bothers me that it's not around 70, but also 69 fun. I did sell quite a bit at my last market, and as we've been talking about upcoming here in now just a couple of short weeks, I have a 3-day memorial market. My goal is to have $8,000 of inventory, of plushie inventory specifically for this market. So adding in plushies I made this week with their estimated prices and subtracting out what I sold on Friday's market, that market vlog should be out this coming Friday. I am now at $5,994. So I just looked. That market is next weekend. So maybe I'll have to up my $500 goal for this coming week. If I were to get to my $8,000 plushie goal, that means I need to make $1,000 this week and $1,000 next week, which my $1,000 weeks are usually when I have 5 dedicated days of crochet only. So we'll see if we can get there. I actually did some math about how much in terms of fees I'm paying for this upcoming market. So if I go ahead and add in my application fee, my booth fee, and the hours that I will be working the market, we are already $1,500 in the hole. So that means if I usually have my profit be about 45% of sales, I need to make $3,000 at this upcoming market in order to just break even. So I think my goal is going to be to sell $4,000 over this 3-day market. So hopefully we can do that. And luckily I also have tons of pottery. I also have stickers. I now have stitch markers and resin eyes. So fingers crossed we can, over the, I think it's 25 hours of sales between the 3 days, hopefully we can hit the $4,000 goal. That's just a little over $1,000 a day. It's about, what, $1,300 each day of sales. And it's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday market because it's over Memorial Day. So hopefully all 3 days are pretty even in terms of sales. Normally on a multi-day market, if it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, Friday is going to be your lowest day, Saturday is going to be great, Sunday will be less low. Hopefully all of those days will be great, but we shall see. And that market video will be coming out shortly after Memorial Day. But I guess I need to sign off now and get working because did not sink in that that's next weekend. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this weekly makes video. Wish me luck in the comments to at least break even at my upcoming market. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!